welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting yet another reading vlog for you guys. So I am quite excited about this one because it is going to be vaguely Valentine's Day themed. I know it's a bit after Valentine's Day as I'm posting this, but it's fine. So I have a really fun TBR for this week. I'm going to be doing some baking, I'm going to do some book shopping later, and tomorrow I am doing a little 24-hour readathon with my patrons, which is also vaguely Valentine's Day themed. So I thought it would be fun to kind of just throw all of this in a little vlog. So I hope you guys are excited because I certainly am. So we're just going to get into it by talking about my TBR for the week. So the first book that I'm going to talk about, and probably the most important book of this vlog, is the one that I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting to pick it up, and that is obviously Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. It's finally happening. I'm finally going to be reading it, and I could not be more hyped to get into this book. This is obviously the second book in the Emily Wilde series. I read the first one last January, and I absolutely adored it, and I cannot wait to see what Emily and Bambleby are getting up to in this one. I also think I've decided that I'm going to annotate this book. It's been a minute since I've annotated a book, and it feels kind of wrong. I think the last book that I annotated was The Starless Sea, and that was at the beginning of December. It's been like 2 months since I annotated a book, and I miss it. So I decided this would probably be the perfect victim for my whole annotating process. But yes, this is priority number one. Like, out of all of these books, this is the one that will be read in this vlog, and I'm starting it later today. So, I'm so excited. And then we have the other books, which I'm also excited about, but probably not as excited as I am for that one. I've also heard really good reviews of that one, so I'm gonna stop talking about it now. The first one being Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is actually my Patreon buddy read for the month, and I figured what a better opportunity than to read it for my little 24-hour readathon. At this point, I feel like I have pitched this book a million times because I've talked about how I'm going to read it on my channel a bunch of times, but now is finally the time when I'm going to be reading it, and I feel like February is the perfect month for it. So this is a YA contemporary romance where our main characters are like chess rivals. Now here's the thing, I suck at chess. I don't love chess. Like, I don't really know if I care about chess. So I'm very interested to see if that impacts my reading experience or not, because it is a book primarily about chess. But because it's Ali Hazelwood and I've really loved some of her adult work, I've been very intrigued by this one. So I'm still excited. And then the last book that I have on this TBR is a graphic novel, and again, I thought this one would be perfect for February because I'm finally going to be continuing the Lore Olympus series. I have volume 5 here. I read the first 4 volumes last year. Really enjoyed them. I think volume 5 did come out last year, I just didn't pick it up at the time, but one of the little prompts for my readathon is to read a graphic novel, novella, or manga, so obviously this is perfect. And it's about Greek gods, it's about Hades and Persephone. I'm really excited about it. I love the art style, I love the portrayal of the gods, and yeah, very excited. As for my plans for right now, I'm really excited because I'm gonna go do some book shopping. Honestly, I'm really proud of myself because so far I've only managed to buy 3 books this year, and I feel like that's pretty good for me, at least. So I figured, hey, maybe it's time to go do some book shopping. And there are actually 2 books that I've been meaning to pick up, so I figured it would be perfect to go just do that now. And I will show you what those are later. So I'm gonna go to Half Price. I don't know if they're gonna have either of the books that I'm looking for at Half Price, but I do have some books that I wanna sell, so I'm gonna do that first. And then I'm gonna go to Barnes & Noble, which is where I will most likely be acquiring the 2 books that I want to get. So I'm going to go do some book shopping. I'm so excited to just do some browsing. And I will talk to you guys later with a little haul. So I have returned from my book shopping and I'm here to give you my one book haul. Yeah, that's right. I managed to walk out of Barnes & Noble with only one book. All parties involved were shocked, let me tell you. But actually that's not for lack of trying, because originally I was gonna buy 3. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But first let me show you the book that I did buy, which is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I bought this specifically for a video that I'm doing for my Patreon, and I'm so excited to see what I think of this one, just because it is very popular. I feel like I've seen so many people talking about and loving this book, so I've been very intrigued by it. And I believe this is a romance book that has a time travel element to it, which has a lot of potential to it, because I sometimes really like contemporary romance, but sometimes I really don't. But I do really enjoy contemporary romance that has a supernatural element to it. Take the X-Text, for example. It very much hits all of the same beats that a lot of contemporary romances do, but it's got witches in it. So considering this has a time travel element to it, my hopes are high. I feel like I'm gonna like it. But basically, I think our main character's aunt dies, and our main character ends up inheriting her aunt's old apartment. So she shows up to the apartment one day, and there's this dude in the apartment. But there's the little time travel element. He apparently exists 7 years in the past. So like, I don't know what that's about. I don't want to know what that's about. I'm really excited to just go into it and figure it out. So I'm so excited about this one. And also well, actually, I was gonna say if I like this one, but I feel like even if I don't like this one, I will pick up Ashley Poston's other book that I'm aware of, which is The Dead Romantics, which involves a ghost love interest, I think. And that book has intrigued me for a while. Keep forgetting to pick it up. It sounds like the perfect kind of September read. So I'm hoping I will like actually do that this year. But first, obviously, I'm gonna start with 7-Year Slip. So very, very excited about this. And then there were 2 other books that I was contemplating picking up. The first one being the actual reason that I went to Barnes & Noble in the first place, which was A Sinister Revenge by Deanna Raybourn. I was going to pick it up, but like, this is a total me problem. I know this is a me problem. Like, it really doesn't matter, but it kind of bothers me a little bit because the last couple books in the Veronica Speedwell series in paperback have been a bit shorter than the other ones, like height-wise, and it bothers me. And I've also been slightly debating collecting all of the Veronica Speedwell books in hardback, so I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do that yet, and I didn't want to buy the paperback for A Sinister Revenge if I was just gonna like turn around and sell it so I could buy the hardcover. So I decided to hold off on it and kind of mull that over a bit. But we'll see. I need to think about it. And then I also almost picked up The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green because I thought it was a part of their buy one get one 50% off sale. It was not. That was my mistake. I almost got it though. But I really want a physical copy of that book too because I read it a couple of years ago. It's like my favorite nonfiction read. To be fair, I don't like read any nonfiction, so I feel like that's not saying a lot. But I really enjoyed that one. And I've been wanting a physical copy of it for a while. So honestly, I might go find one on Pango and buy that because I have been meaning to get a copy. Anyway, there's a little book haul. But I do also have another little haul for you guys because I have some clothing items that I want to show you really quickly because I'm working with Simple Retro in this little portion of the video. It's not sponsored. They're not paying me to say any of this. I do just really like their clothing. So when they reached out to me again and asked if I wanted a few pieces, I was like, heck yeah, I want a few pieces. Thank you. So I thought I could just quickly show you the 4 pieces that they sent me. They're so cute. The first one being this stripy green sweater. Look at this. It's adorable. I'm obsessed. We all know how I feel about the color green around here. Big fan of this. Then we have a piece that's very thematically appropriate for this video, and it is this little heart, what's the word, blouse, I suppose you would say. It's got a little like Peter Pan collar, I think is what it's called, and it's got little hearts embroidered on it, which is so cute. And then we have my 2 favorite pieces. This one I've been wearing constantly. It's literally just this like navy quarter zip, but I love the wide collar on it, and I love the detailing on it. And it says Simple Retro like on the pocket. This is so comfortable. It's so easy to just throw on. And it's also like, I wouldn't say it's dressy in the slightest, but I feel like it's a little bit more elevated than your typical quarter zip, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a big fan of this. And then I also have this little button up, well, it's like a quarter button up. It's a technical term. It's very wintry vibes going on here, so it is perfect, and I just love the detailing on it. So if you guys liked any of the pieces, I will have them linked down below if you should want to check them out. But that being said, it is time, guys. It is finally time to get into Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna go downstairs, set up my annotation key first and foremost, and then we will get into it. Hello, it is the next day. It is actually the day of my 24-hour readathon. I'm currently on some sprints with my patrons, which have been so fun so far, but I wanted to take a break here and give you guys my updates on Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands because I am loving it so far, and I really feel like I'm gonna give this book 5 stars. I will be so flabbergasted if I do not give this book 5 stars, and I'm only 45 pages into it. So I didn't really end up reading too much yesterday, but the pages that I did get to, I love this series so much, and I can already tell that this book is gonna be so good. So in the beginning of this book, we are back at Cambridge, and we're kind of just, you know, in the like setup portion of the book. We're kind of just following Emily and Wendell as they're doing typical Cambridge professor things, you know? But there are just so many moments that have been so cute already, and also so many like really fun whimsical moments already. And I just adore the series. I love Heather Fawcett's writing style. I love these characters so much. It's so fun. And I'm so excited to read some more of it. Like, there was this one scene where Emily and Wendell were sitting down to tea, and he poured her a cup. And let me just read this to you. It says, "The tea in the mug was blue-black, and floating across the surface were tiny lily pads. Each cradled a perfect white flower. Shadows flitted across the surface of the water, as if above it was a canopy of dark trees, admitting only the thinnest of sunbeams." First of all, the writing. Second of all, the whimsy. Like, you're freaking joking. A tiny little cup of tea with lily pads floating in it. Like, that the visual that it's giving me is just so, oh, I love it so much. I love it. I'm so excited to read some more of this. Honestly, like, not a lot has happened. Well, actually, no, I was gonna say not a lot has happened so far, but actually there was this whole scene where Wendell has already had to fight off these fairies that randomly flew into one of his lectures, so there has been a bit of action so far. And I just cannot wait to get into some more of this book. These characters are so endearing, and I cannot wait to see what fairy-related issues they're going to get into in this book. So those are kind of just my initial thoughts. I'm not super far into it, so I don't have a ton to say just yet. But from what I have read so far, I feel like it's gonna be a 5-star, so excited about that. But I'm actually gonna take a break on this because, as I said, I'm currently starting my 24-hour readathon, and the book that I wanted to start for this was actually Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which I have read a little bit of so far. But today my main goal is to finish this book and read Lore Olympus Volume 5. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read much of anything else, just because, honestly, after doing my 24-hour readathon, like with the timer that I think I posted last week, I'm still a little bit burnt out from doing that. So I don't want this 24-hour readathon to be too stressful. I just want it to be very chill. Just want to hang out with my patrons on sprints, do a bit of reading, do a bit of talking, just have a nice time. But this book is a YA contemporary. It's also pretty short, so I don't think I'm gonna have any issue with finishing this today. So this is kind of my main goal. But like I said, I have read 22 pages of this book so far. Not a lot has happened. We've been introduced to our main character Mallory, who used to play chess a lot, but then for some reason she stopped playing chess. We've also been introduced to the kind of family dynamic that is present in Mallory's household because her mother, I believe, has rheumatoid arthritis. So Mallory's kind of had to take on this more parental role for her sisters, and I can see how that's like weighing down on her a lot, and I think that's going to be a focus moving forward in the book. But obviously there's also going to be a bit of a romance, and I think that's going to get going pretty soon here because Mallory's friend has invited her to this chess tournament that's for charity. Mallory hasn't played in a while, but because it's for charity, she's like, all right, fine, I'll go. Her friend is also going off to college very soon, so they want to spend some time together before she leaves. So obviously kind of wondering who could possibly be at this chess tournament. It's really hard to figure out, I know. But I've just been enjoying it so far. It definitely has that kind of signature Ali Hazelwood writing style. It's very fast-paced to read. Our main character is very sarcastic and snarky. There are also a lot of pop culture references, which I can kind of go either way with pop culture references. Sometimes I don't like them. Sometimes I'm kind of just along for the ride and I don't really care. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. As I said, I'm gonna finish it all today. So I'll be interested to see what I think of this overall. Those are kind of the two reading updates for you. Mainly my goal for this afternoon is to read all of this. I also do have my thematically appropriate Haribo ready to go. I already ate half of it. We don't have to talk about that. But I love it when Haribo comes out with like holiday versions of basically the stuff that they already had out. Like this one honestly is kind of lazy because it's just like the white and red gummy bears. So my candy review for the day is that they're good. I just wish they would have been like heart-shaped or something, you know? A little lazy on the Valentine's Day theming, but I give them like a 7 out of 10. So I'm gonna get into reading some more of this and I will give you guys an update at some point in time later this afternoon. So it is now Monday morning. I did not really end up doing much of anything yesterday, but that's okay. I was also not killing it during my 24-hour readathon because literally the only book that I finished was Check and Mate, but also like I don't really care that much, so it's all good. But I finished this, so I thought I could give you my final thoughts on it. And I just don't know. I just don't know about this one. I feel like I don't think I really ended up enjoying it quite as much as I thought I was going to. And I don't really think that's even due to the fact that this is a YA contemporary romance, because in my opinion, this is like a new adult contemporary romance. It's kind of YA, but I think it hits on some themes that are a little bit more in the new adult age range, which is the age range that I am in. Like, I'm only 3 years older than the love interest in this book. So I didn't have a problem with it being too juvenile or childish or anything like that. I just didn't really care about our characters, honestly. Like, the romance was kind of fun, but also I feel like there wasn't a ton of romance in this book, really. I feel like the main focus is Chess, and I just don't care about Chess in the slightest. So I was kind of going into this hoping Chess would kind of be, you know, a feature of it, but not necessarily the main point. I wasn't expecting it to be like in the background. I knew it was going to be like a large part of the story, but like I just didn't care about Chess. I also feel like I should have seen this coming, really. There were way too many pop culture references in this book, and I feel like for the most part, that doesn't normally bother me as much as it did in this book. I think it kind of fell off in the second half of the story, but my god, in the first part of this book, it's just like reference after reference after reference. I was like, I don't want to hear about hairstyles again. I don't want to hear about TikTok again. I get it. In my opinion, the writing style felt like Ali Hazelwood was trying a little bit too hard to appeal to a younger audience, because she was just ticking the boxes. She was like, I got Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, BTS, they were all in there. And I was like, maybe 1 or 2 is fine, but there were so many, and like it really did start to grate on my nerves over time. But all that being said, I didn't absolutely hate it. Like, it wasn't awful. I enjoyed it. I honestly just don't think I'm ever gonna think about this book again, because I feel like one of the main reasons I love Ali Hazelwood's adult romances so much is the STEM representation in them, because as a woman in STEM, I think it's so fun to have all these STEM romances I can read. But this one being about chess, I was like, I am not a woman in chess. So it just wasn't something that necessarily piqued my interest in that sense, and also I just didn't love the romance. I was just kind of bored with them, to be honest, because I feel like there wasn't a ton of romance in it. Like, obviously I do think it's still classified as a romance, but I just didn't really feel the chemistry between these two. It was kind of just like, oh, I don't know. I don't think it was good rivals to lovers either. I didn't love it. I didn't love it, which makes me so sad. But it wasn't the worst thing ever. Honestly, I think if you like chess, you'll probably eat this book up. So those are kind of my thoughts on Checkmate. Like, I'm glad I read it because I thought it was a fun time, but it's not a book that I'm going to spend literally any time thinking about going forward. But one point in this book's favor, or maybe this will be something to exemplify why you shouldn't read this book, Ali Hazelwood does use the term banana pants, just casually. And I just want to know why. When Cass read this book back in December, I think, she told me about the use of the phrase banana pants, and we've been saying it to each other constantly. So when I got to that line in the book, I was so excited, but like, if it wasn't like a thing between me and Cass, I would have been like, why is this in this book? Who greenlighted that phrase being in here? It's just so ridiculous, but also very on brand for Ali Hazelwood, so... You know, anyway, I've said enough about this book because I have read a little bit more in Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I think I read like 30 pages of this book yesterday, so I haven't made a ton of progress. I'm on page 79 now, but it's so good. It's so good, and I'm so excited. This is turning out to be everything that I needed it to be and everything that I wanted it to be. I feel like we've kind of moved out of the setup portion of this book and we've moved into what the actual kind of plot is going to be. So they're going on this expedition research trip kind of thing to Austria, and they're going to the Alps, which I'm so excited about because honestly, going to see the Alps in literally any European country is like dream destination for me. I want to see the snowy mountain scenery so badly. So the fact that this book has such a breathtaking location that it's being set in, I'm already so excited about that. So I just know that like the combination of the characters, the setting, the whimsy of this story, I'm absolutely going to adore. And I feel like this entire vlog is just gonna be me being too excited about this book. But I just love this series so much. Although also even before we went on this expedition, the like atmosphere and scenery was absolutely top tier because this has been taking place in early September at Cambridge. So the autumnal academic atmosphere is everything that it could have possibly needed. Like, I know it's February right now, but it's got me wishing for autumn so badly. Like, let me find a good a good passage here. Like, just this one sentence alone. It says, the campus was still and slumbering at that early hour, the trees blanketing the paths in shadow, and the pre-dawn air had the chill of autumn in it. Thank you. Love that. And then we have this one. I followed at a more sedate walk, enjoying the sun on my face, as well as the cool edge to the wind that heralded the coming autumn. Just past the main Dryadology building was the ivy-clad magnificence of the Library of Dryadology, which overlooks a lawn dotted with trees known in this part of Britain as fairy favorites, yew and willow. I have just been adoring Heather Fawcett's writing style in this book because it's not super lyrical and over the top, but the way that she has been describing the scenery and the setting and the way it sets the atmosphere, I've just been absolutely loving so much. It is just absolutely everything I could have asked for. And this book is feeling like it's going to be my first 5-star read of the year. It's going to be one of my favorites of the year. And I feel like I'm liking it more than I was liking the first one. Such an exciting reading update for the morning. Anyway, I'm gonna stop gushing about this book because I could probably go on about it for a while, to be honest. And let me talk about just my general plans that I have for today. So obviously, want to make some progress in this book, but then I also do want to do a little bit of baking later, which I'm very excited about. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done some baking, so I want to do something kind of thematically appropriate for Valentine's Day. Also, I'm sorry, I feel like I say the phrase thematically appropriate so often, but also it's a fun phrase. I like it. But I saw these like Nutella strawberry hand pie thingies. I made some hand pies back in October. So easy. Very cute. Big fan. So I want to do like same concept, but for Valentine's Day. And I love Nutella so much. I never buy jars because I certainly cannot have it in the vicinity. But I figured Valentine's Day coming up would be a very valid excuse to buy a jar and do something with it. So I'm very excited about those because they do sound absolutely delicious. And I think I want to make them later this afternoon. So those are kind of the only 2 plans that I have for the rest of the day, but they are certainly very exciting plans. So I think first I want to jump back into Emily Wilde's. And yeah, let's go. It is now Wednesday morning. It is currently Valentine's Day, so it'll be a belated Valentine's Day for you, but happy Valentine's Day to me, I guess. But I did not end up vlogging anything yesterday. However, I did do something very exciting, which I cannot wait to show you, honestly, because this is a problem that has been plaguing my life, truly. Obviously, not really, it's not that deep, but it's just something that I've been wanting to remedy in my own life for a while. And that is the fact that the Veronica Speedwell paperbacks are now not the same size. Obviously, not a big deal, kind of bothers me just a little bit. So I've been contemplating getting rid of the paperbacks and collecting the hardbacks, but in the hardbacks, the first book doesn't come in the same cover that the rest of them comes in. Obviously, not cool. What's that all about? So yesterday, I took it upon myself to make a dust jacket for the first book that would match the rest of them, and then I proceeded to order all of the other books in hardback. So my wallet is crying, but I'm also gonna sell most of my paperbacks. Some of them were gifts, which I'm keeping those, but the ones that I bought, I'll probably sell them, so maybe I'll make my money back. I don't know, but let me show you this because I'm so excited about it. It's not perfect because I did not spend any money doing this. I just had my mom's printer and some Mod Podge and my own Photoshop skills. But I made a dust jacket and it was actually really fun. Like, I had a really good time doing this. This is not currently on a copy of A Curious Beginning. This is actually The Wishing Game, but I needed a book that was kind of like the similar size so I could make sure it fits. But I did it. And honestly, like, this was a really fun project. Might have taken me like 4 hours to do it, but it's done. Like, you can definitely see where the pages are joined on the cover, and like especially on the back. I think you can see it maybe right there. Because I unfortunately do not have a printer that would just print this all in one continuous sheet, but I feel like with the supplies that I had, I think it looks pretty good. And I'm just so excited that I can now collect the series in hardback, which means I can buy the new books as soon as they come out instead of waiting a year for the paperback to come out. It's been a problem that's been plaguing my life for at least the last year since I've been reading this series. So I decided I'm gonna remedy that problem. And now I have a matching first one for the rest of them. And I'm so excited. And I just love this series so much that I do not mind that I spent so much time working on this dust jacket. So I just wanted to share it. It's not perfect. You can definitely see like the brush strokes on the Mod Podge. You can also see where like the rough bits are when like it hits the light, but I'm still pretty happy with it. Anyway, that's kind of that. I've spent too much time talking about it. But I don't really have that many reading updates for you. However, I do have some book mail. So I thought we could open these. Actually, one of these I have already opened, but that's fine. Let me just talk about these. First of all, we have this one. This is from my mom, actually. She bought me a book for Valentine's Day, which is very nice of her. And I kind of told her what book to buy me for Valentine's Day. So I'm glad that she listened to my suggestion because I now have The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the second era Mistborn, I don't know how many books are out in it, series, but it's got the UK paperback. Collecting these now because they match the other ones. Very satisfying. Very excited to read this. So yes, shout out to my mom for this book. And then we have these other two, which I believe are off of my Amazon wish list, which I'm very excited about. So first one, I think I might actually know what this one is. So let me open it and we'll talk about it. Okay, yes, this is perfect. I believe this is from Veronica because she messaged me the other day and was like, hey, something went wrong. But she said, hope you enjoy the series, from Veronica Sparrow. Thank you so, so much, Veronica. This is honestly perfect because this is the last book in the series that I didn't own. And now I own it, which is very exciting. I love these paperbacks too. They're so nice and floppy and just absolutely stunning to read from. Like, thank you. Gorgeous. And this is going to be the Whispers and Words book club pick for March, which is very exciting. We are slowly making our way through the An Ember in the Ashes series, if you want to join us. But thank you so, so much, Veronica, for getting me this book so I can continue to read the series from these stunningly floppy paperbacks. Also, I love the green on this one. Big fan. And then I do have this box, which is interesting. Let me pop it open. Oh, but I am so excited about this. Okay, so before I show you what the book is, this is from Laura. They said, I love your channel, Katie. Thanks for creating such funny content. You've inspired me to read more. I hope you enjoy your new book. Thank you so much, Laura. I'm so excited about this because I have seen so many people talking about this book and how much they love it. And that is The Will of the Many by James Islington, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. But I think this is like a Roman-inspired fantasy story that takes place at a military college type of situation, and I've literally heard nothing but great things about it. I saw so many people reading this book last year and absolutely loving it. They said it was so good. So obviously I've been so intrigued and I've been meaning to get my hands on a copy of this, so thank you so much, Laura, for allowing me to now have a copy of it. And I cannot wait to get to this. I'm hoping I can get to it sometime soon. It's a thick one. How long is this? This looks really long, although the pages might be kind of thick. Oh, okay. It's like 600 pages, which honestly, it's not that crazy, I guess, but yeah, very excited about this one. And I think this is the start of a series. So that's all the book mail that I have. So thank you so much to Laura and Veronica for allowing me to have these lovely, lovely books. And thanks to my mom for buying me this books. So that's kind of all of the book things that I needed to talk about. So it's currently Wednesday morning. My plans for today consist of baking those thingies that I did not get around to actually baking on Monday. And I think the first thing that I want to do though is not that. Because I'm thinking the first thing that I want to do this morning is read Lore Olympus. Originally my plan was to read this for my readathon. Didn't happen, but that's okay. So I think reading it this morning would be nice. A little graphic novel to start off the day. And I'm so excited. I was about to say I might need a little refresher because I don't remember what happened at the end of the last volume because it's been like a year since I've read it. But the very first page is a little previously on Lore Olympus panel thing going on, so perfect. Now I don't have to do that. So I'm gonna get into reading this and I will check in with you guys when I've finished it. Okay, so I just have a really quick update because I did finish Lore Olympus this morning and I really, really enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm a little bit sad that it's taken me quite this long to get to it, but also it did give me the opportunity to read it on Valentine's Day, which I feel like is kind of perfect for this series. But honestly, I just love this series so much. I love how it depicts the absolutely unparalleled petty nature of the gods. I took a couple of Greek lit courses in my undergrad, and one of the main things I remember from all of the readings that we had to do was just how petty and small these gods acted towards each other. It's honestly just insane. So to see that kind of exemplified in the actions of the gods in this graphic novel series feels very true to how they are depicted in Greek literature. And I also do really like the romance between Hades and Persephone in this story. Honestly, I don't 100% know the actual story of Hades and Persephone as it is presented in Greek literature, so like I'm not sure exactly how close it is, but from what I do know, this is definitely like a less toxic representation of what it actually is, and I just love them so much. And overall, I just really, really love this graphic novel series. I would recommend checking out the trigger warnings for it though, because there are a couple of things that you might want to know before going into it, but I would highly recommend this series if you are in the market for a different kind of format for a Greek retelling. I also really love, I've mentioned this so many times, but I really love the color palette of this series because each god has like their own color. And I also just love the art style so much. So I'm a big fan of this series, very excited for volume 6. I don't know when that's coming out, but I will be there when it does. So that is book 2 done for this reading vlog. I am still making my way through Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I keep going to call it Encyclopedia Fairies, and if I have accidentally called this one Encyclopedia Fairies, please just casually ignore that. But I am going to just read some more of that, but first I want to get into my baking, which I'm very excited about. So let's go. It is a couple of days later, and I'm here to do the outro for the vlog because I finished Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. We'll get there. We'll get there. But first, I actually have some more book mail. I know I said at the beginning of this year, like, my goal is to cut down on my physical TBR. I'm not gonna buy, like, any books, and I feel like all I've done in this vlog is acquire books, but it's fine. I recognize the irony, but, like, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? So first, I actually have a package that I want to open because, as I told you guys a couple of days ago, I bought all of the Veronica Speedwell books in hardcover, and I finally got one of them. So I'm really excited to see how this looks compared to my dust jacket that I made. I also remade the dust jacket, and I did not put Mod Podge on it this time, and I think it looks better. It doesn't look like so streaky, so let's open this one, and we'll see how it what is going on there? Who hurt her? Look at this. But, oh yeah, I got a Murderous Relation. This is the 5th book in this series, I think. So, we have this, and then we have mine. I just want to see how they line up. Honestly, why is this taller? Maybe these books aren't as tall as I thought they were. I think they look pretty legit, to be honest. Okay, cool. So there's this one. I feel like my dust jacket worked out. I'm gonna have to find a shorter book to put it on though. We also have someone who wants in. Have an interruption from Winnie. She's not close enough for me to grab her or I'd force her to be in the vlog, but she's close enough to be annoying. Moving on to some other books that I got. I only have 2 more to show you. But this one I'm super excited about because I decided to finally pick up The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. This is a book I see get recommended to people a lot who like The Starless Sea. And obviously, I love The Starless Sea. I also read Starling House by Alex E. Harrow last year. Absolutely loved it. So I've been very intrigued to check out some of her other work. And because this one is recommended for people who like The Starless Sea, I was like, obviously I gotta pick it up. But I do believe this is also historical fantasy. I think it takes place in the early 1900s, which I'm always down for some historical fantasy. So I'm quite excited about that. Also, look at these chapter headings. These are so cute. But I cannot wait to see what's up with this book. And then Cass actually sent me a little gift because I did recently hit 80,000 subscribers, which is absolutely nuts. Thank you guys so much. That's crazy. But she sent me a little book, and that is Big Panda and Tiny Dragon. I saw her pick this up last November maybe, and I thought the art style was just so charming. It's so cute. But she did leave a little note. She said, 80K has never looked so sexy. So proud of you. 100K is literally on the horizon from your Parabatai Cass. Which is so nice. But this book is honestly just precious. There's one illustration in here that I saw that I love. It like goes through the seasons with this big panda and this tiny dragon. Okay, look at this one. Oh my god. Look, he's so cute. The way this dragon is drawn is just so adorable to me. I love it so much. So I'm so excited to pick this one up. It looks delightful, to be honest. So thank you so much, Cass, for the book. But that's all the book mail that I have to show you guys. For now at least, but we need to get into talking about Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands because I finished it last night and it was so good. No words. I have no words. I thought I would have been able to collect myself by now, but apparently not. But this is a book that I just feel like was written for me. Like, you know when you find those books that when you read them, you're just like, everything about this is amazing, stunning, beautiful. That's one of these books. This is absolutely a 5-star. My first 5-star read of the year. Probably gonna be one of my favorite books of the year. And I think it was even better than the first one. And I loved the first one. But this book was just everything that I wanted it to be and more. Heather Fawcett's writing, I don't know if I just didn't notice her writing in the first book, but the descriptiveness of her writing in this book was like off the chain, I swear. It just made it so atmospheric. And because this book is primarily about fae, there's so much whimsy and magic that you can add into the descriptions of these places that our characters are going. It just made it so good. There was also so much fall and wintry imagery in this book as well, because this does take place in the fall to winter kind of time. The characters are also like my favorite part of this series. Emily is such an endearing main character to follow, because even though she's such a studious and serious person, you still just love her so much as a main character and you relate to her so much. But then you also have Wendell, who is the perfect foil for Emily because he's so charming and charismatic. And their interactions are so funny because they butt heads so much, but also their romance has like started to develop as you get further into the series. And their romance isn't a main point of the series. Like, the main point is, you know, studying fairies and all this stuff. But you get just enough of it that it's like a nice little addition addition to the story, and you're kind of like waiting for the next moment where they're gonna have their little bit of bantering, and it's just so cute. Also, Emily's niece Ariadne has joined them for this expedition, and I really like her as well, and I'm hoping we get to see more of her in the next book because she's like a budding dryadologist. And they also brought one of their colleagues with them whose name is Dr. Rose, I think. He is a grumpy man. He's kind of mean, but I also really loved what he added to the story as well. And I feel like the group dynamic that they had going on in the story, I just loved so much. Also, something I really loved was the fact that this book kind of had a not necessarily spooky atmosphere, but it was a little bit eerie at times because we are dealing with very true depictions of the Fae. Like, they are scary creatures. And sometimes when our characters are having interactions with the folk of the area that they're staying in, it's a little bit creepy. And I love that so much because we all know how I feel about like spooky and creepy things. I love it so much. And kind of the juxtaposition between that and like this gorgeous landscape that they are traversing is amazing. And also there's a lot of ghost imagery in this book. I feel like the term ghostly was used so often, and like that's not a complaint. That is a pro. I love it. And I just loved learning more about the fairies. It's so interesting. It's just so good. I feel like honestly I could sit here and talk about this book for a long time. It's just, this has cemented this series as one of my absolute favorite series because I love the first one obviously, but this book just hit it out of the park. It is so good. So I am so happy because I feel like so often when I get so excited for new releases, I kind of hype them up a little bit too much in my head and then I'm a bit let down when I actually read them. But this one exceeded my expectations tenfold. I had no clue I was going to love this book as much as I did. It was just utterly transportive. I just love everything about it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it for the time being, but just know that I will continue to talk about it frequently in many videos to come. Anyway, I do need to quickly wrap things up here because I did read 2 other books in this vlog. They kind of pale in comparison to Emily Wilde's, I can't lie. So Winnie is walking around on plastic right now, which is really nice of her. But I ended up reading Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I feel like I've said all I need to say about this book. I think I need to stick to Ali Hazelwood's adult romances, to be honest, because this was fun. And if you want like a cute little romance, I would recommend. It's just not exactly something that I'm going to, you know, talk about a lot going forward. Like, I had a good time reading it, but I don't think it's really had an impact on me in any way. I wasn't absolutely obsessed with it. But it's got that typical Ali Hazelwood writing, so if you want something fast and fun, I think this is a good pick. And then I also read Lore Olympus Volume 5, which I also really loved. So we've gotten to some good books in this vlog. Mainly her. But the other ones, they were good too. But with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. So thank you so much for watching this vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, obviously I would love to know down below. Have you guys read any of the books that I've read in this vlog? Namely, have you read this one? Can we please talk about it? Or any of the others, I would love to chat about those with you as well. Also, before we go, I did want to thank everybody over on my Patreon if you're ever looking for more content from me. It's always linked down below. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having an amazing Monday so far, and I will see you all in my next video.